The iPhone 8 is set to launch on the 12th of September at 6 p.m. British Summer Time at a special event in California. Rumors suggest the new flagship will bring with it some significant changes when it arrives, as Apple prepares to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. The biggest of these will likely be the inclusion of an all-glass display, a revamped home button, 3D facial recognition, as well as beefier hardware and larger base storage. The iPhone 8 is also expected to be the most expensive smartphone ever made by Apple, starting from the $1,000 mark. Read on for all the latest iPhone 8 news, plus everything we know so far about the iPhone 8's release date, features and price. Apple iPhone 8 rumored specs released the 12th of September 2017 on sale from the 22nd of September. Frame stainless steel chassis, flat all-glass design, screen 5.8 inches, edge-to-edge AMOLED display, cheaper 5.5 inches and 4.7 inches models using LCD processor, Apple A11 quad-core, running iOS 11, RAM 2GB, 3GB for Plus model, battery, true wireless charging up to 15 feet, also wide camera, dual lens, 1.2 MP, single lens for cheaper models, connectivity USB Type-A, Lightning jump to latest news. 12,092,017 Apple fans rejoice the iPhone X is due to land today. It won't come as a surprise to hear that a lot of the features apparently set to be announced have been the subject of rumors for months, but what is purely guesswork, and what will the iPhone X or iPhone 8, if Apple decides to keep its old-school naming conventions alive, really feature? We round up the iPhone X rumors. Although nothing has been confirmed, the latest rumors suggest the iPhone X will feature a 5.8-inch OLED display, with 3GB RAM and Apple's own A11 Fusion chip with a 6-core processor. Storage is expected in 3 capacities: 64GB, 256GB and 512GB, with prices varying up to around £950 for the top-of-the-range version. One major change that has been rumored throughout is the touched fingerprint scanner moving to the back of the device, or in fact, Apple possibly even integrating the technology into the entire edge-to-edge display of the device. However, more recent rumors suggest Apple has decided to scrap Touch It altogether and will instead only permit facial recognition as a means to unlock the device and use security features such as Apple Pay. Wireless charging could be another add-on to the iPhone X we haven't seen before, although that's a pretty big hardware change that no other manufacturer has managed to implement successfully in the past. The camera is expected to receive a boost too, with 4K video recording capabilities at 60 FPS and 1080p video at 240 FPS. We haven't heard the resolution of photos, but we assume it'll be at least 12 megapixels. Although the iPhone X is due to be announced today, it's likely the device won't be heading into your hands straight away. If the release date of the iPhone X follows previous years, you'll have to wait an average of 10 days before you'll actually receive the device, even if it's available for pre-order right after the event later today. 11,092,017 3 iPhones, including iPhone X, unveiled in new leak. The name of Apple's 10th anniversary iPhone appears to have leaked a day ahead of its official release. Called the iPhone X, details of the new flagship appeared online alongside 2 other iPhones, with both 9 to 5 Mac and Mac rumors believed to have been given access to iOS 11's Golden Master GM code by an Apple source. The GM version of code is usually used by companies to indicate they believe it is ready for release, the BBC reported. Meaning this is likely what we'll see at Apple's launch event tomorrow. Apple will release 3 smartphones: the 4.7 inches iPhone 8, 5.5 inches iPhone 8 Plus and the 5.8 inches iPhone X. The latter will have an OLED display, as reported by Mac rumors, while the others will boast LCD screens. The names are thought to respectively replace the iPhone 7s, iPhone 7s Plus, and iPhone 8 monikers previously used to describe the 3 upcoming devices. Developer Steve Troughton-Smith, who broke the name news on Twitter, also said the iPhone X and iPhone 8 Plus will have 3GB of RAM, whereas the iPhone 8 will have 2GB RAM. The leak is the code for iOS 11, but it describes what the devices will be called as well as some of the specs. Some developers have found references to wireless charging for the iPhone X, and a new A11 Fusion chip with a 6-core processor, as reported by 9to5 Mac. There are references to Face ID, facial recognition technology that looks to replace Touch ID. The OLED display also appears to lack a home button to compensate for its bigger screen. The side power button appears to be larger on the iPhone X and will be essential for Apple Pay transactions and Face ID. Pressing and holding the button will also awake Siri. The GM also suggests that the iPhone 8 and iPhone X will support 4K video at 60 fps and 1080p video at 240 fps. It will also come with something known as portrait lighting, which uses the iPhone to produce DSLR-like shots via a number of lighting effects. The iPhone 8 will also come with a feature called Animoji, where users can send 3D animated emoji based on the facial expressions. The emoji are of unicorns, pigs, robots, the famous poop and more, and can replicate a user's facial expressions. There was also information about the new LTE Apple Watch 3, which will apparently use the same phone number as a user's iPhone. This is probably the biggest and most revealing leak ever ahead of an Apple launch, with someone making hidden URLs containing the code details available to the news sites. John Gruber, an Apple blogger, said someone within Apple leaked the list of URLs to 9to5Mac and Macroom. I'm nearly certain this wasn't a mistake but rather a deliberate malicious act by a rogue Apple employee. 08092017 Potential production problems could mean the next iPhone won't have Touch ID. Apple's Touch ID will not be present and correct in the new iPhone when it is revealed in a few days' time. The tech giant is expected to drop Touch ID due to production issues when trying to embed the fingerprint scanner into the smartphone's display, The Wall Street Journal reported. The iPhone 8 is expected to have an edge-to-edge OLED display covering the phone's front, not dissimilar to the Samsung Galaxy S8. To put Touch ID to use, Apple needs to find a way to integrate the scanner into the phone's display. While reports suggest Apple is struggling to do this, there is a chance the Cupertino company could relocate the Touch ID scanner to the rear of the phone rather than drop it completely. If Apple does indeed abandon Touch ID, then it will make things difficult for people trying to use Apple Pay at speed, which requires the use of Touch ID. If there are indeed manufacturing issues behind Touch ID, it would be more likely for Apple to delay the release of the next generation iPhone or initially offer the handset in limited numbers to begin with, rather than abandon the fingerprint scanner altogether. Limited supplies of the new iPhone could annoy hardcore Apple fans, but no Touch ID is potentially more irritating for people with an ambitions to get hold of an iPhone 8. 07092017 A report by analyst firm Piper Jaffray suggests that Apple fans aren't particularly excited about the launch of the iPhone, despite the device apparently having a completely new design. Analyst Michael J. Olson said the research house surveyed around 400 iPhone users in the US and discovered that 16% anticipated they would buy the iPhone 8 when it's released later this month, compared to 15% of participants in the survey last year. Less than a quarter said they will maybe upgrade, and at the same time last year, 29% of existing iPhone users said they had the same sentiment towards the flagship device. We also found that the percent of iPhone users on a version 2 years or older at time of upgrade is almost identical, 66% versus 67% compared to our 2016 survey, Olson added in the research note, seen by CNBC. The report also explained that it asked respondents whether they were aware of the more robust feature set of the iPhone 8, and most said they weren't, suggesting Apple needs to better communicate the reasons why every iPhone user should upgrade when the device is released later this year. The company still believes when the device is announced, attitudes will change and upgrades will happen on a much larger scale than the research suggests. Specifically, our analysis suggests that at the time of iPhone X launch there will be an installed base of approximately 330 users on an iPhone that's at least 2 years old. See details in table below, Olson said. We believe a sizable portion of these users, in addition to users with newer devices, will look to upgrade due to the age of their device and the more significant changes to the device. Our model assumes Apple sells approximately 242 iPhones in the 12 months following iPhone X launch. 06092017 A special 10th anniversary iPhone X could launch alongside the iPhone 8, according to Dutch site A Culture, which claims to have heard the rumor from a reliable tipster. The site reaffirmed rumors that Apple will skip the iPhone 7s and the iPhone 7 Plus nomenclature and head straight to iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus, with the iPhone X pronounced iPhone 10 being the flagship model. There will be an iPhone 8, but it won't be the top model, it will be the successor to the iPhone 7, the site said. Explaining the iPhone X name, a culture continued. iPhone X is a logical name. The letter X represents 10 in Roman numerals, referring to the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. Translated by IT Pro, it also revealed the Netherlands will be one of the first countries to get the iPhone X when it's released, alongside the UK and US. Pre-orders will begin on the 15th of September, with delivery available from the 22nd of September. High-profile Apple tipster Evan Blass of EvLeaks agreed with these rumors, tweeting, "FWIW, I've also heard iPhone X, though not 8 Plus, for the JV squad, as well as 915 pre-orders and 922 release ship date," meaning little known culture could be bang on the money. Not only that, but another notorious truth-teller, Benjamin Gascon, has recently suggested the prices of the iPhone could range between $999 £766 for the 64GB and $1,199 £919 for the 512GB version. The 256GB capacity iPhone 8, or iPhone X as it may well be known, will set you back $1,099 £843. 050920178, a 22-page document that reveals how Apple decides which iPhones are eligible for repair under warranty and which aren't has been leaked on Dropbox. The document has reportedly been written to guide technicians, engineers, and customer services in Apple stores about what type of damage can be fixed under its in-warranty repair, out-of-warranty repair, and what can't be fixed at all. Business Insider was sent the extensive document dated the 3rd of March 2017 and covers a range of iOS devices, including the iPhone 6, iPhone 6s, and iPhone 7, as well as the supersized Plus brothers. "We have one just like that for all of the products," one Apple retail technician told Business Insider. "Used more for the physical inspection and how to determine cost for damage. That's basically half the training for iPhone techs." The source added that visual mechanical inspection guides, VMIs, are used, but not necessarily referred to for every single case. "Unless someone comes into a store with a device that has an unusual issue, we can normally pick out abnormal issues without using it," the anonymous tipster added. However, if your phone has an issue not covered under warranty according to the guide, that doesn't mean it definitely won't be replaced. The Apple employee makes the final decision on a case-by-case basis. "There are always those one-off issues that the phone is technically not covered under warranty, but we swap the phone anyways under warranty," an Apple technician said. 31,082,017 Apple has issued invitations to the media for an event on the 12th of September at its offices, all but confirming the iPhone 8, iPhone 7s, and iPhone 7s Plus will make their debut in less than 2 weeks' time. The 12th of September has long been rumored as the release date for the latest round of Apple devices and fits with the company's tradition of holding an iPhone launch on the second Tuesday in September. As noted in Apple's invitation to the media, the event will be the first to take place in the Steve Jobs Theater in the company's new headquarters in Cupertino. While the brief message from Apple doesn't make any reference to a new handset, a message received by one of Team IT Pro from their network operator gives it even more credence, if it were needed, that this will be the iPhone 8 launch. The event will mark 10 years since the launch of the iPhone, which changed the face of consumer mobile devices, and a great deal is expected from the newest addition to the iPhone family, including 3D facial recognition and AR/MR technology. The event kicks off at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. British Summer Time, and IT Pro will be reporting live on events as they unfold. If you want a head start on what to expect from the iPhone 8, however, scroll down for all the latest details on the features and specs, price, and when it and the iPhone 7s and iPhone 7s Plus will be on sale. 31,082,017. The iPhone 8 will mark the end of the home button on the smartphone, according to a new rumor. Instead of a physical home button, which has been a feature of the iPhone since it first launched 10 years ago, the new device will have a software-based virtual one, Bloomberg reported. citing images of the new device that the news outlet claims to have seen, and people familiar with the gadget. The iPhone 8 will have a thin software bar in lieu of the home button, which is dragged up to the middle of the screen to open it. The design means that although the iPhone 8 will be a similar physical size to the iPhone 7 and a bezel, it will have a larger OLED screen that's bigger even than the iPhone 7 Plus. While the software bar could theoretically replace most of the functions of the current physical home bar, one thing that's unclear is how Touch It will work. This function, which is integral to the home button, currently can be used to unlock the phone as well as other authentication functions, including, importantly, Apple Pay transactions. The Samsung Galaxy S8, which also has a virtual home button, has overcome this by moving the fingerprint scanner to the back of the phone. There's no indication, however, that Apple will be following suit. Other rumored updates listed by Bloomberg include a new A11 processor, 3D facial recognition, and an infrared sensor to facilitate facial recognition in the dark, and changes to the cameras that will both improve photo quality and enable augmented reality apps. The iPhone 8 UK release date is expected to be late September, 29,082,017. The latest reports suggest Apple has scheduled a product launch for the 12th of September, the date long rumored to mark the arrival of the iPhone 8, or whatever the 10th anniversary version of the smartphone ends up being called. The latest report comes via the Wall Street Journal, citing unnamed sources that are familiar with Apple's plans. Apple normally holds a launch event for the iPhone in September, so the rumor isn't particularly surprising, and the date has been long suggested as the likely one for the event. The report adds that 3 phones are expected to be unveiled, alongside a new Apple Watch smartwatch and an Apple TV, with an iPhone 7s, 7s Plus, as well as a high-end iPhone 8 that could cost $1,000 and is rumored to feature facial recognition and an OLED display with thin bezel. The event is expected to happen at its new Apple Park campus. Apple hasn't yet sent out invitations for the event, and likely won't until a few days before it's scheduled, although industry watchers and tech journalists will already have the 12th of September in the calendars. UK release date at the end of August. Apple sent invitations to the media for an event on the 12th of September, which is widely expected to be the launch of its next iPhone. Apple has for the past 5 years launched its new flagship iPhone on the second Tuesday in September, with the exception of 2016, when it was brought forward due to the Labor Day holiday in the US. In previous years, the handset has been available to pre-order in the UK on the day it's announced, arriving in shops roughly 10 days later. If Apple continues this tradition with the iPhone 8, it means the device will be on sale from Friday the 22nd of September. Availability in the rest of the world may vary. The 12th of September unveiling will take place at Apple's new headquarters, in the Steve Jobs Theatre, from 6 p.m. British Summer Time. IT Pro will be covering the event live on the night. Price. According to the New York Times, citing people briefed on the product, the base iPhone 8 model will cost $999 before tax. This equates to the iPhone 8 UK price being about £775 late August exchange rate before tax, or £930 with 20% VAT. Rumors have suggested that Apple is planning to raise the average prices of the new iPhone range, including the iPhone 7s and iPhone 7s Plus. Given some models of the iPhone 7 Plus can cost up to £920, and that the iPhone 8 is supposed to be a top-of-the-range product, a £930 price point is entirely reasonable. On the other hand, there are also suggestions that the iPhone 8 could retail around £560, with the 64GB version between £685 and £725. This would bring the device more in line with Samsung's Galaxy S8, currently priced at £689. Rumors also point to 3 different configurations for the next flagship phone, 2 of which feature a cheaper-to-produce LCD screen over the costly OLED variant. This will almost certainly have an effect on final prices. Specs and hardware. It's highly likely that the iPhone 8 will launch with iOS 11, but as iOS 10 has only been out a few months, it's unclear what features a brand new OS would include. Apple used a quad-core A10 processor in the iPhone 7 range, and the company may stick with a quad-core A11 for its next phone. Samsung's activities will not go unnoticed, however, as rumors suggest they are planning for an Exynos octa-core chip built using 10 nanometers technology. If true, Apple is unlikely to let itself be outgunned. While the iPhone 7 was limited to just 2 GB RAM, employees at supplier Foxconn recently confirmed the iPhone 8 will ship with 3 GB of RAM. Apple may also be about to phase out the 32 GB storage option for this generation, according to a recent report by TrendForce, in favor of 64 GB and 256 GB configurations. Reports have also suggested the company is working on its own graphics chips for the iPhone 8, set to end its long-standing partnership with British chipmaker Imagination Technologies within the next 2 years. Display. One of the first rumors to circulate about the iPhone 8 was the inclusion of an all-glass OLED display. What is uncertain is whether this screen will be curved, as one report from the Wall Street Journal claimed it would be, only to be contradicted by the research report by TrendForce citing poor production yield and failed drop test results. What we can say is that this model will be its premium version, and it is very likely that 2 other models will hit the market at the same time offering cheaper LCD screens. On the face of things, this could be seen as a move by Apple to offer greater variety and pricing options for its customers, although what is more probable is that Apple is suffering from a severe supply shortage of OLED screens. Foxconn employees also confirmed the iPhone 8 will somewhere between the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus in terms of size, although the new design will shave off some inches by removing the top and bottom bezels, and will feature a larger screen than the iPhone 7 Plus as a result. A number of scanners are set to feature with the new display, including a built-in fingerprint scanner and a new iris scanner for facial recognition. It is rumored that the fingerprint scanner will be moved from the front home button, which has now gone to the back just below the Apple logo. Battery. Apple may finally add support for wireless charging with the iPhone 8, following news that Foxconn is researching the technology for Apple devices. Employees at Foxconn recently confirmed that the iPhone 8 would keep the Lightning connector rather than the reported USB-C, as well as feature wireless charging. Ultimate Accessory Connector UAC. A new connector type is rumored to be making its way to iPhone 8 accessories. The UAC, which will feature on all accessories and devices made through Apple's Matter for iPhone program, and promises to be an 8-pin connection that is smaller and thinner than USB-C and Lightning. Colors. A Chinese supplier recently revealed that the new range of iPhones will feature the same colors as the current models, including silver, gold, and rose gold, according to a report by Miko Takara. Although simply an uncorroborated report at this stage, the typically reliable source also pointed to a replacement to the current space gray option, potentially with a deep blue, space black, or a deep red.